Welcome to Mini Pulse, a series where I answer questions from Facebook, Instagram, and Reddit. Today, Sam asks, I'm looking for a formula that can calculate how many Z references are in column C. However, I want to avoid duplicates in column B. The attached has a rough example of the data columns A through C, and then the results I'd expect to see start from cells G5. As an example, JH 2001 and Z1 appear 3 times, but I only want this to be counted once in the results. On the original spreadsheet, there are thousands of rows, so I want a formula that will work with this. I should add that the reference in column B is a unique 10-digit number. Any help would be much appreciated. The best way for me to be able to find the perfect formula that's needed in order to be able to solve a situation, if I don't know the scenario, is to create a scenario for myself. So with Sam's example of what he wanted, I looked at it as in the names were people names, and these reference and Z codes, they were like different insurance policies. So Z1 could be like a family insurance policy, Z2 could be group policy, Z3 dental. I don't know how insurance policies work, but something along those lines. Because let's just say John Hall gets a group policy, or he gets a single policy, but he has 3 of those, one for each member in his household. Well, they don't want to know that John's got 3 of the same insurance policies. They just want to know if he has this insurance policy at all. So looking at that logic, it's easy for me to be able to see why Sam would want this type of formula for his matrix that he's about to make. So with that being said, looking at his question, he wants to know if JH got the Z1 package. Now, we can see right here that John Hall has the Z1 package, but he has it twice. But we don't want it to count twice. We wanted to only count once, saying that he got the package one time. So with that being said, this is just the information from his spreadsheet. So I'm going to delete this information because we want to use a formula to be able to find it. So the way I looked at it was a count ifs formula would be perfect for this, because the count ifs formula, it takes different criteria that you need and counts it based off your criteria. So I would just put in the equals counts ifs formula. My criteria range is where the criteria is located at, with a range of the criteria. First, what I'm going to do is going to be the name, so it's right here. I'm going to press F4 to lock that because I don't want it to go anywhere. I want to always reference that section. The next one is the criteria. My criteria is what am I looking for in that range. For this example, it's going to be JH, John Hall. The next one is my second criteria, which is going to be the type of insurance, or that Z column. I'm going to lock that one as well because we're always going to look at that column. And then the next one is the criteria for that, and then that's going to be Z1. We only have 2 criteria. I'm going to press enter. And as you see, it has the number 3. So we know that John Hall has 3 of the Z1 packages. And we can see that here. 1, 2, and 3. We solved that one part where we can count, and we figured out how many times that John Hall got the Z1 package. But as we said before, we only want to count it one time, not 3 times. Then I had to think, if I can find this package in there, if there is a value in there, if it has more than one value, if it shows up there more than once, I only want it to count as one time. So now that our count if statement is complete, we know that John Hall has the Z1 package 3 times. Now all we have to do is add in an if statement, because if the count if formula returns any value, then we need to count it as 1. So know that we basically completed our if formula, because we can throw the if formula right in the front and say, if this count ifs formula gives me a value anything that's greater than 0, then I want the true answer to return me as a 1. But if not, I want it to be a 0. So now that we have our if statement completed, all we have to do is go and tailor our count ifs formula to each package and each name. In order to do that, all we have to do is look at our formula, and we can see that G4 is associated with the name and F5 is associated with the certain package. So since I want to go down, I want to keep the name the same, G4, so I will lock that name, press enter, and then I can drag the formula down. Now that we have the John Hall column complete, we can go across and we can get the Z1 package for the DS and the CP. In order to do that, all we have to do is go back to our count is formula, and we'll tailor our formula in order for it to stay on the Z1 package, which would be the F5. We'll lock that one, and we'll unlock our G4RR name. That way it can go across. And then we drag our formula. Alright, and then we will do the same thing again. We're going to tailor the count is formula again. We are going to lock the name, and we are going to unlock the package or the Z reference. This is how I would solve that problem in particular. I took it a step further and just added some random names with codes and gave an example of what it would look like if we wanted it to have this on a larger scale. And here is my example. Now with this, it's the exact same thing, but as you can see, we have a table for our names and our reference code where our data goes. Here we have the customer codes, and here we have the reference codes. I use the formula in order to get my totals over here. And I use the conditioning formatting rule in order to be able to get the green sections. That way it gives more attention to the ones that have values in it. If you enjoyed this video, like, follow, and subscribe. And if you have any questions, comment below, and I'll be sure to answer it in a future video.